Hi guys, so today's topic is all about your narcissist and suicide. I'm going through my experiences now. My narcissist, I was with him for almost 5 years, and very early on my narcissist would come out with talks about suicide, that he tried it in the past. Apparently he'd put a hose through his car window and ran it, and then I don't know, obviously didn't go through with it because he was still with me at the time. This was like ages old. Apparently he'd had a bad fallout with some girlfriend, and so he resorted to suicide. My narcissist, when he was with me, he used to use this technique when I suppose I was having maybe red flag moments, and I was seeing him for sort of the sort of person that he was, with a bit of a, I don't know, because he seemed so decent and so lovely and nice and kind, and you know, the nice part, the love bombing, would come after abuse. So of course it gets to the point of where you doubt yourself, you doubt the abuser, you doubt that, is this real abuse or is this something I'm just creating in my own head, you know? Yeah, I can remember, you know, you're talking, for me it was very early on in the relationship where there were times where he would come to mine, he'd stop over sometimes. There'd be times where he would, if something didn't go his way, and this was very early on, this trait, if something didn't go his way, he had a tendency of just literally, he could be here 1 minute and the next minute he's put his stuff down, and you could hear you heard the back door go, you heard the gates go on the back, because I've got a farmer's field on the back which takes a little track onto the main road, and then you're out of the village. Yeah, so it was like you'd go in, you'd see the face change, you'd hear the back door go, and then you suddenly would hear the gates being messed with outside lights would come on, and he would jump in his car and off he'd go. And I'd be like, oh, obviously didn't agree with that. And usually it happened if he wanted money, and I said, oh, I could only give you a £5 to go in the car or something, and he wanted 10 or 20, and I didn't have, you know, that kind of money rattling around in my purse. And yeah, so he used to go off in a huff and puff, and there were times where he'd be in a huff and puff. Sometimes he'd block me on Facebook, sometimes he would just tell me to go away, I'm a horrible woman, on message. And then of course it would be I'm going to kill myself, and I'd be like, oh. And sometimes I'd be really, really worried, and there were times where I tried ringing him, he'd block my, you know, ringing, he'd just put a bar, you know, swipe across to stop it from ringing. There was one time where I rang his mother because he'd rung her on the house phone, and I pressed 1471, the number come up when she rang here. Other than that, I'd never spoken to his mum before, I'd never seen her, and she was a bit forgetful, a bit absent-minded, a bit of dementia maybe in there. And yeah, she was like, oh, he's at his girlfriend's at the moment. And I was like, yes, I'm his girlfriend. And oh, she's in Birmingham, his girlfriend. And I'd be thinking, well, I ain't in Birmingham. I know his ex-girlfriend was. But yeah, I used to have this, you know, this panic, and I'd ask him if he was okay, you know, and she'd be like, oh yeah, he's out, he's doing something at the moment. I'll get him to ring you when he gets in. So it was like, okay. But yeah, there were times where I'd have little stashes of money here, there and everywhere in my living room. I got wise after a while. I didn't do it because he used to rob from me. he'd borrow being the operative word, he'd borrow like 50 quid, take it, because I had a pot with £100 in it, and it was there for rainy day purposes, with being out in a village, and you know, it was there as an emergency for topping up or petrol or something. And yeah, he used to rob from it. I know one time he was in a really bad mood, and then he said to me it was that he had a lot of demons in his head, and he was all stressed out and everything, and he was on about suicide. You know, at that point, if I didn't give him money, you know, there was always talk of suicide. Oh, I can't deal with this no more. I've had enough of this life and all the rest of it. And off he'd go. And the one time, one minute he was in my home, and the next minute he was gone. And I had a look in my pot, and sure enough, £50 had gone. And he disappeared. I rang him. One time I did actually manage to get myself to the village pub, and there he was. All this talk of suicide and nothing. But yeah, he used to threaten suicide an awful lot. It's just things to get inside your head. After a while, I think it started to wear off a bit, if you like. But the one time where he'd gone off to the pub and he didn't turn, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30, 2 o'clock. I'd ring his mobile, nothing, no answer. And it did worry me. There was times I'd be really, really panicking, thinking, oh my God, this is it, he's gone and done himself in. He used to threaten, because there's a field on the back with an old shed from wartime that's out there, and he threatened that one morning I'd look out and I'd see the tree, and there'd be a figure hanging from the tree branches, and yeah, so there was that as well. And yeah, he used to threaten it a lot. And then when we were due to split up, again, the talk of suicide was very, very strong. And he was, one evening, he talked about it like as if he was planning a holiday, how he was going to do it, what he was going to buy beforehand. He was going to buy a big bottle of scotch, he was going to do this, he was going to do that. And, you know, it was horrendous. And then when we split up and he was harassing me on message and threats of suicide and that, the police said to me that he's not going to do it. Has he done it yet? No, he's not going to do it. It's just mind games. And every now and again, you know, when he'd message me, there'd be talks of suicide. Oh, I've had enough. I can't do this. I can't live without you. I need to get out of this mess. The only way out is by ending my life on this planet and all this, that and the other. He was talking of putting a hose through. He was on about all sorts of different things, but gassing, he said, was the most effective. And it's horrible to hear somebody talking about it. You know, you see on the media all the time about people that have jumped from train tracks and stuff, and, you know, jumped off a motorway bridge, and, you know, all sorts of different things. And you sort of think, would he do it? But then people have said to me on abuse, you know, Facebook groups and stuff, support groups, they've said to me, even if he does do it, it's not your fault, it's not your problem, it's not down to you, it's his problem. And, you know, all he's doing is trying to tap inside your head, so just, you know, don't worry about it. It's not you, it's him. So, there we go. So, for me, it has worried me at times when he would message and then he'd go off and blank. It's all part of the mind games technique that they do so well. So, there we are. If they talk of suicide, it's a load of crap. Right, guys, I'm going to love and leave because one of my cats is trying to claw his way through my door. So thanks for watching, and I'll do another video soon. Bye.